Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, fam? Today, topic, we're going to be talking about what legacy are you going to leave your family? What legacy are you going to leave your family? Let's go. Hey, everybody, this Brother Blackman. Welcome to the show. All right. Today's topic, we will be talking about what legacy are you going to leave your family? No, I'm not talking about financial legacy. We talk about enough about that because a lot of us, we leave our children a financial legacy, but what can destroy that financial legacy is if they don't have an emotional legacy. And when I say emotional legacy, I'm talking about stability, wholeness, peace, joy that you can leave your family that doesn't cost you anything. But what I found is that a lot of families, a lot of parents have been exposed to some things, uh, some dysfunctional behavior growing up. Like in my book, I talk about how when you grow up, you press record, and then when you're grown, you press play. And what I want to say, um, as a disclaimer, is much of the delay in dealing with the family legacy is that you feel like it's your fault. I was born into this, or the infamous, well, it's just who I am, take it or leave it. That day and age is gone. There's too many resources readily available to us to uh, buffer that normal statement. This is just who I am, take it or leave it. But see, what you're doing in your selfishness, what you're doing is you're throwing your kids under the bus, so to speak. You know, it just dawned on me, to drop in my spirit, that there's families that they see the ill effects of the mother or the father or the grandmother or grandfather not taking emotional responsibility for the things that they've been brought up in and been exposed to. And you wonder why you see your children walking down the same path that you walk down when it comes to relationships. I know of an example where a young lady's father had an alcohol problem, and her father worked a certain occupation. And lo and behold, fast forward, when she married her husband, identical job, identical issue with alcohol. Now, you could call it coincidence if you want, but there's that's too coincidental. But what the spirit was showing me was that's because, and we can't leave. A lot of times we can't leave it up to our fathers or our mothers or our grandfathers or grandmothers or whoever you were raised by that was had a significant impact in your life. We can't blame them because some of our generations from the past, they just were not equipped enough to deal with, or there weren't, back in those days, we just recently, as a people, as African Americans, just started going to therapy. Now, before, we're doing quite well in regards to, uh, we're doing quite well in regards to the fact that there are more and more African Americans that are opening up to therapy. But in our community, culturally, we shun that. We're told to pray, it'll go away. put it in God's hand. But guess what? God created therapists and God created counselors to help you cope with that stuff. So my point is, don't get mad if you see your children or your grandchildren repeating the same fatal steps that you took in regards to how you dealt with relationships. And this is the funny part. It's not funny, but this is the peculiar spiritual part. Like I just mentioned, it's not by accident that you attracted the same type of mate that your grandmother or grandfather had, where it's infidelity, and you swore out that I'm not going to deal with that because you saw what your mother or father dealt with, but you attracted that same type of person. Reason being, the energy of that situation has attached itself to you because of what you brought up with. And this all takes part in the subconscious mind. You wonder, well, how? This is why you ask the question, why do I keep on attracting the same dude? Because if you don't deal with the inner woman and the inner man and finding out why you're attracting that same person, and the answer sometimes is deep down, because what we do, we suppress things and we don't want to deal with things up front and up personal. So we suppress the thing. And then, some of us have been molested. And what we've done is we have pushed it so far down that I've heard of instances where people have forgotten that they were compromised as young children. And then the behavioral patterns show up in your adulthood. I beg and implore you, grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, deal with your stuff. Because if you don't, your kids will inherit that vibrational energy, that negative vibrational energy that will have them catapulting forward into the same mess that you endured. And if it's not checked, somebody in your family bloodline has to step up and rebuke and rebuff with the help of God, therapists, and deal with this thing. So often we push stuff under the rug, the family secrets. That's why when you're vetting individuals, you better find out what's going on. You better find out, you better dig down deep. And the thing about it is, that's in that vetting process, that's what takes so long. You got to get a good idea of who you potentially are hooking up with and what's going on with them. So I implore you, man, woman, deal with that issue. Go to that therapist. It's not the end of the earth. You got support groups and all of that that's going to deal with it. And you know what? You may be the odd man out, the odd woman out who chooses to step up. Somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb. Somebody has to step up on that cross and say, you know what? Enough is enough. There's always a ram in the bush where somebody recognizes that behavior and they say, you know what? I'm going to be man or woman enough to deal with this. Now, you know what this may mean? It may mean that you may not be invited to the family functions anymore. It may mean that there are certain cousins that's not going to talk to you no more. It may mean that you may lose not just your friend, not your friends, but family members. So is your child's legacy more important than your relationship with your cousin, first cousin? Even, I must go as far as to say brother or sister. Reach out, get the help, do the work. This brother Black one, here with another strong one, family. Peace.